Oh, and welcome back to HLS Crypto. My name is Dan. Let me get myself out the way. If I can do that, where am I? There I am. So today we're going to talk about the cost of crypto and maximizing your bull run, which I think is kind of important. I think some of it's there's a bit of mindset in there, but there's a few actionable steps as well. Let me know what you think in the comments because I'd be interested to see, if you prefer these type of videos as well as obviously talking about crypto and doing deeper dives into projects as well. Let me know if there's any cryptos you want me to discuss in the comments as well, and we'll make a video. So the cost of crypto. Now this is quite important, I think. So I've been having to think about the best ways to maximize the bull run, and we've spoken about DCAing in the past, which is still a firm believer in that, and that's what I currently do and have done throughout the past couple of years to try and build my bags enough to be hopefully the retirement bag come 2025. We've discussed projects, etc., that look like great opportunities to invest into. But how do we generate income or use our existing income streams to really get the most out of the bull run? Ideally, you want 10K, put it all on a mad mean, there's 1,000x and you're set, right? A nice $10 million, job done, dead easy, right? Well, not exactly. It doesn't tend to work like that. And obviously, you've got to have balls of steel to hold for 1,000x. That's not necessarily a good thing. Quite often, you might, even if you got to like a 980x and you're like, no, I'm going to hold, and all of a sudden it just goes to zero. You're like, oh, fuck. It's not good. We've got a few options here that we can be safe. We can have mixed risk or we can have a high risk within our portfolio. So stick around for a bit of mindset later in the video as well, because I was talking with crypto with Paul about this, and it was really interesting. He's a great guy as well. Go follow him if you don't already. Let's take a look at some mock portfolios first of all. So this is what I was saying about the other week. So we've done this previously. We did this back in January. It's 10K split among three different types of crypto portfolios. So you've got your YouTube Solid, you've got your YouTube Safe, and you've got your YouTube DGen. As you can see, it was 10 grand in each. And then you basically sit on your hands. You don't do any DCAing in this. This is just literally an example. I'm still obviously wholly advocating DCA. Again, not financial advice. That doesn't happen on this channel. But if you look at this, from just sitting on our hands, we're up $17,657. This is largely attributed to a few things, mainly Pepe, oddly. But obviously, as you know, Casper is absolutely flying at the minute, which is great to see. So our YouTube Solid contained Casper, HBAR, Quant, Trias. I love Trias, by the way. It's one of my favorite crypto projects, as is Casper. Quant, fantastic as well. But Quant is a bit stagnant, but I fully believe it will pick up. Viat, Myriad, Right, and a few others. So these were our kind of trying to be as safe as possible with a few little gambles within there, like Inspect. Again, I think what we need to do is just kind of restructure this slightly, maybe bringing out Inspect, maybe taking out Front Fans, and kind of looking at how we can do things there. This is a decent, solid portfolio. Your safe one, obviously, being the most important in terms of a cornerstone of your kind of crypto portfolio. Obviously, you need to have a lot more money if you're going to be sticking to Bitcoin and Ethereum, but this is Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, and Quant, which I consider to be quite safe. That's up $5,874, which is fantastic. Bitcoin being one of the biggest gainers there, now hitting $70,000 again, which I think is really interesting. I really see Bitcoin, from my point of view, is like 120, maybe to 150,000 in the bull run at its peak. And then the DGen portfolio, which surprisingly performed the best, it's $10,695 up. A lot of that is down to Pepe, but there's a few others that have been a bit, meh. Things like, the Gold Rush, the Alaska Gold Rush, which I really, really like. Rollbit surprising me, it's dumping a little bit there. Right Stream's starting to make a bit of a spike up, which is good. Again, check the channel. There's some videos on Right Stream, some interviews with Riaz Mehta and different things like that. All good stuff. So this is how you could do it. But again, you could also, make your own picks if you've got 10K to start with, but maybe a lot of people haven't. So you're starting with 1K and you're trying to DCA into that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So let me know in the comments how you've structured your portfolio. I think that's quite interesting. If you haven't started yet, then I would seriously consider starting now, because we're coming to the precipice now of where we're going to start seeing these peaks. For me, I don't think we really get going to kind of December time, October to December. I think we'll have a few dips along the way. I think we'll have a few dips in 2025, but I think ultimately you'll see the alt season. A good rule of thumb to get into the mindset of things is that we always want a minimum of 10x of everything we invest in with the crypto space. And I know that doesn't sound great, 10x, oh, it's terrible. But in reality, 10x is really, really good. It's something that I want to try and put my main focus on, because 10x is fantastic. The more you put in, you then see a 10x on that, then, it's life-changing. So how can we make sure that we maximize this? Well, if you have a salary, like myself, I go to work. I've got to go to work tonight, so I'm filming this video now, and then I'm going to go to sleep. And you have no extra income and no side hustles, which is a little bit dangerous in this current economic climate, I think. So we need to look at ways that we can fix this. You might want to do loads of different things. There's Uber Eats, Drive, and things like that. You can do a YouTube channel. You can do social media presence. There's different things that you might want to do, whatever your skill set is. And I know that scrimping and saving here and there is not going to make you rich as much as it can be useful. Skipping a coffee, it won't make you a millionaire. However, what we decide to spend the money on might do. So when it comes to having more funds to invest, basing it on a minimum of a 10x. And I know 10x, again, isn't sexy when it comes to crypto and all the hype, but adjust your mindset to position everything as a minimum of a 10x. So spend some time looking at your bank account and see what you're truly spending on non-essentials. So obviously, essentials are unavoidable. But the non-essentials, maybe you can have a little look and see if there's some things that you don't really need, and then maybe look to put that into crypto or in any of your investment strategies. So let me give you an example of this. And also study this. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So you've got your base of your pyramid is breathing, food, water, sex, sleep, homeostasis, and excretion, so things that you have to do physically. And then you've got levels of what you actually truly need. And then when you get to the top of that, it's kind of like, your Netflixes and your things like that, your things to make things comfortable, but not actually necessary. I think that's interesting. So this is a good example. This is Prada, the website Prada. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. This is a basic black t-shirt, and it's £630. If you look at Fruit of the Loom, basic black t-shirt, £2.99. So you can see the massive difference here, right? So if you were to buy this t-shirt and you think of it on the premise of 10x, so everything you now purchase, think of it as 10x. Because if you put that into crypto and your minimum is 10x, think about the possibilities of that. Think about what you're actually spending. So 630 on this t-shirt, if you put that into the crypto space instead, that's 6,300. So the cost of the t-shirt's actually, if you bought the t-shirt and didn't put it into investment instead, it's 6,300 essentially. Do you see what I mean by 10x and stuff? Whereas if you do the Fruit of the Loom, you're paying 30 quid for a t-shirt based on the 10x. You're buying it for $2.99, you're happy with that. Is that going to be a thing that'll kill you, not having the Prada t-shirt? You can have a Prada t-shirt, have the Prada t-shirt in 2026, because then you can get it and it's not going to be much of an issue to you. But right now, when you're trying to build, particularly if you're a beginner and you're trying to get as much finance as you can into crypto, this is kind of the thing, the lines of how you want to think about things, and I think it's important. It gives you an idea, it gives you like an example, it makes you think differently about what you spend your money on. Second example I want to show you is this. So you can get, when you're doing your weekly shop or your monthly shop, however you do that, Heinz baked beans. And again, this is a British currency, obviously in England. It's £1.40 for a tin of Heinz beans in tomato sauce. But if you want to go to Tesco and get their own brand, it's 28 pence. And you get 5 grams more, which is insane. Now, I know there's an argument for taste and quality and different things like that, and I get that. But for the sake of the next 18 months, could you have Stockwell beans as opposed to Heinz? I know I certainly can, and do continue to do that. That's the way I do things as well, because you've got to look at every avenue you can in order to put as much as you can into your investments. But for this, it's nearly 4 cans, isn't it? It's nearly 4 cans, nearly 5 cans for the same price, and you get an extra 5 grams on each purchase. It's just something to think about. I know it's not strictly crypto, but if you utilize those kind of mindsets, it can really, really help. And I think it's important to kind of look at little areas and ways that you can save things like Netflix, things like Amazon Prime. You may be spending like £100 on streaming services a month, or $100. Do you need them? Is there a way of maybe just saying, well, I'll just stick with one and maybe cut the others off and put that into your crypto portfolio? Because DCAing for me is massively important. I prefer the DCA method. I always have. I think it's a you can do lump sum. So if I was going to buy a meme coin, I'd probably just buy a lump sum of it and just see how that goes. And if it doubles and trebles, maybe take the initial and let the rest ride, which is a fine strategy to have when you're dealing with things. But when you want to go with your fundamental strong cryptos, the ones that you believe in the most, things like Casper, for instance, when Casper dips to like 9 cents, 10 cents, then I'll pick up more. Trias, anything under $10 for me, Trias is definitely a buy. Quant, anything under $100 is definitely a buy. So you're just adding in, just building that bag, because when that bull run goes and things start going parabolic, yeah, you might have a coin go 100x, you might have a coin go 50x, but as long as you're kind of comfortable where you're exiting, because exit strategy is something that we'll talk about in the future. We've talked about it in the past. You can go back and look at those videos as well. But as we get closer and closer, we're going to want to talk about it more, because it's the bit where you realize your gains or your hard work, everything you've done over the past 3, maybe 4 years up until that particular point in the bull run. You want to utilize those gains and realize them. You don't want to be sitting there, and when it gets to its peak, it just starts dropping down again. You're like, oh, should I sell now? And then by the time you make a decision, it's too late. It's better to have a plan. They say like fail to plan to fail kind of thing. I think it's really, really important. So if you enjoyed this video, I hope you did. Please smash the like button, subscribe if you can. We're going to try and close on that 5,000 subscriber mark. If you want me to discuss any particular cryptos that you are interested in, you're looking at, and I'll do a bit of a deep dive on, I can bring a video on that. Let me know in the comments. We'll have a discussion. I'll see what I can do. Wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, have an amazing day. Have an amazing evening. I'm going to go to sleep. I have got work tonight, and it's going to be a long one. Nice 12 hours roaming about a hospital. So all the best. Take care. Goodbye.